Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's a beautiful Friday morning, Luis. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Baseball podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me as he does for every episode is Luis Bronco. Luis, you're on the West Coast today. Bright and early, crack of dawn, morning after a rehearsal dinner, wedding today. Everything starts in a couple hours for you, but you're here doing the podcast. We're recapping the wild card series, a memorable round of playoff baseball.
I mean, you can't deny that, as everybody would say. Luis, you're on the clock. You know, at the rehearsal dinner, they're like, yo, what's your predictions, Luis? What's going on? What do you think about it? And they're like, oh, the game's on. You're on the clock. Why are you talking to people? And I'm like, I know I'm on the clock. I'm just confident. But here we are. Playoff baseball. First round's over. Wild card series. It definitely gave one of the better first round wild card series. It's 5 a.m. in the morning, crack of dawn. We're here. I'm ready to talk some baseball. How are you doing? I'm definitely feeling great right now.
I feel like you got to be running on adrenaline at this point.
Oh, dude, the adrenaline is, just to not be too long-winded, but I literally got to California about 48 hours ago, and I've only had about 10 hours of sleep in like the past 48, so I'm ready to go. I am all cylinders. I am Cam Schlittler tweeting late night. So here we are.
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm good. I'm obviously good. Feeling great after last night's events. You went to a playoff game this week, so we obviously got to talk about that. We're going to be recapping every single series. Cubs-Padres went 3. Dodgers-Reds was the only one that went 2. Obviously, Guardians-Tigers went 3, and Yankees-Red Sox went 3. It's the first time that we've had more than one or two game threes, and then just this new wild card format. And the Yankees were the first team to come back from losing game 1 to win the next 2 games and win the series. So this was a historic round. We finally had some good series in the wild card round. Last year, all of these series they were 2 and done. So there's a lot to get to. I think we should just dive right into it, Luis, and recap this round.
Hey, before we begin, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram, follow us on X/Twitter, follow us on TikTok. We're making content like always. But man, oh man, what a first round. Like I said, we haven't had a first round like this in quite a while. You know, like you said, multiple game threes, controversy in the Cubs-Padres. You know, you had historical rivalries renewed with Red Sox, Yankees, and then you also had, the historic collapse in I don't know how to describe the historic collapse. A historic collapse renewed or historical collapse, prevented. Let's call it that way, in a sense.
In Detroit, or in
Detroit,
yeah,
in Detroit, in the Guardians. But man, oh man, what a series! And where do you want to begin? Do you want to begin in New York? You want to go to LA? Do you want to go to Chicago, or where do you want to start?
We definitely got to start in New York after I think that series was the headliner. We did the Yankee focus all season long. Let's start in New York. That was something else. I was so nervous all 3 days, even not during the games, like at work throughout the day in anticipation of the games. I felt nerves. That's what postseason baseball is all about. I mean, every pitch matters so much. The difference between a 1-2 count and a 2-1 count is so massive. The difference between a 3-1 and a 2-2 count is massive. Every single pitch magnified. So much pressure on the players. I don't know how they play through like just the nerves. I'm so nervous as a fan. Yankees got it done. They win in 3. Luis, you can recap the series quickly. I think we should probably. Once we get into the game deep dives, we got to start with game 3 because that's what's the most top of mind right now. We have to start with game 3.
No, I know. We got to get going. I mean, this was a ridiculous series. I mean, I'll tell you this, William. After Tuesday night, I was packing to do my cross country travels. William was very defeated, to say the least. He was thank you fans. Couldn't believe it. I mean, game 1's going to be a game that we'll be talking about due to the decisions that were made. And so let's just recap it and give the listeners what happened. So the Yankees and Red Sox faced off in the Bronx this past 3 days. And I mean, boy, did it deliver. Game 1 was on Tuesday. Red Sox won 3-1. Crochet Final start, great start to go out on. I mean, definitely left the voters AL Cy Young giving I know a good picture of his body of work. I mean, he went 7 2/3, 1 earned, 11 strikeouts, and 117 pitches. Max Fried went 6 1/3, 6 strikeouts, 102 pitches. And then it all came off with Luke Weaver, who couldn't get through a hitter and gave up 2 hits, 2 earned, and a walk. The Masataka Yoshida RBI single in the 7th made it 2-0, and then they ended up tagging up another run later on off an Alex Bregman double in the 9th. Wednesday, the Yankees won 4-3. Brian Bayo only went 2 1/3 with 2 earned, 0 strikeouts. Carlos Rodon went 6 innings pitched, 3 earned, 6 strikeouts. And the difference was Austin Wells RBI single in the 8th off Garrett Whitlock, giving the 4-3 lead to the Yankees. Cruz got out of a jam in the 7th, and there's the picture of him just showing the raw emotion. I think that's why we love the playoffs, just seeing raw emotion off the playoffs' faces. Like, again, this is what they live for. This is what the moments, and we're seeing the Yankees coming through in these moments. And then last night, Cam Schlittler.
I mean, clap it up.
I mean, sometimes, and I'll reiterate from a past pod that we did, sometimes the best trades you make are the ones you don't make, and believing in what you got internally. Cam Schlittler went 8 innings strong, 0 earned, 12 strikeouts, and 107 pitches. He's the first player in the MLB postseason history to go at least 8 innings pitched with at least 12 strikeouts and 0 walks. Had a franchise record in strikeouts in his postseason debut. And in the 4th, the Yankees got 4, and that was it. What a start. I mean, William, I'm at a loss for words. I mean, I was watching the game at the dinner, keeping my eye on it. But, man, going 8 strong, 12 strikeouts to a guy that was in pitching minor league baseball out to start the year. Like, what a meteoric rise.
Yeah, I think, again, I like you said, I really am at a loss for words for what Cam Schlittler did last night when the Yankees needed him the absolute most. You used the A bullpen guys in game 1 and game 2. You needed some length heading into game 3 from Schlittler, and I was hoping for like 4 or 5 strong innings of like 2 earned runs. But to go 8 scoreless, I mean, it is quite literally, statistically, it has to be one of the best postseason starts in Yankee history and probably in postseason history. 8 innings. 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 12 strikeouts. He's the first player, and like you said, first player in MLB postseason history to go at least 8 innings with at least 12 strikeouts and 0 walks. 0 walks. I don't think he had a higher than a 2-ball count after like the 2nd or 3rd inning in this game. He's a guy that's from Massachusetts. He is a rookie. This was his first playoff start, and he looked the absolute part. He was totally calm, cool, and collected, never really showed any emotion or any smiles until he was pulled from the game. And it was really fastball, sinker, cutter for the majority of the game. He mixed in a few curveballs, and when he's locating that curveball, he can be the Yankees' number 2 starter behind Garrett Cole next season. Maybe even, he's not going to be the number 1 starter over Garrett Cole, but he looked like he could be a game 1 starter. The way he pitched last night, it was truly just jaw-dropping stuff, and he was having fun on Twitter after the game, tweeting out dirty water and stuff like that. Apparently, some people were tweeting some crap at his mom, so he took it personally. And Boston people that were tweeting at his mom, and he took it personally. And I mean, to do what he did, he instantly goes down as a Yankee legend. I know it's a wild card series, so you got a lot of baseball yet to be played. But it was against Boston, the rivalry, the stakes, winner take all. If you lose that game, you're sitting on your couch, not playing any meaningful baseball until next March, the end of next March. So to do that with the season on the line from a rookie, what is he, 20 years old? I really have no words for what he did last night. It was iconic. We haven't seen a Yankee pitching performance like that in the postseason in quite some time. I know Tanaka had a really good start against the Astros in 2017. That's what one that comes to mind. But this was generational. Going to go down in the history books.
I love it. I mean, think about it. This is like the perfect villain arc story. Like the start of a villain. Like Boston kid, Massachusetts kid. Father is the chief police officer chief of police in Needham, Massachusetts, went to Northeastern, and then he completely just ends Boston. Like you always hear about, William jokes around, you joke around this a lot, that the Red Sox always draft guys that are Yankee fans growing up. I mean, this is like, it seems like the opposite. And I mean, 12 strikeouts in your first start. I mean, I remember at the start of the season, I watched this guy's clips on YouTube and I was like, man, there's something about this guy. And man, oh man, did he deliver. Like, I don't know what else to say. I talk a lot about puppies and dogs. He clearly is a dog. Like the guy, the cojones to come in and do that on your first start on Yankee Stadium. I don't think we haven't seen something like this in baseball in a while. And my biggest fear, and I want to temper expectations, is I hope Yankee fans and I hope baseball doesn't make him into the next job of Chamberlain, where, the expectations and the hype gets so high that, it gets so difficult to like tame and control that, Jabba had all the hype going back when he came out and he was pitching well. And then he started to struggle and it turned. And I feel it happens a lot in New York, not only with the Yankees, but also with the Mets. Matt Harvey is another story that I think about. That's what I'm just very fearful. Like, oh, he did really good, but like, please don't take it over proportion. Like, he is still a rookie. Yes, he was a veteran. He looked like a vet, but he is still a rookie. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance that was the best postseason start of his entire career, if we're being honest. It just doesn't get much better than that. Not to knock the guy. He's going to have more opportunities, at least one more opportunity in this playoff run for the Yankees. Going to be pitching against Toronto, which we can maybe talk about that series toward the end, quickly preview the divisional round. I think he looked like he was dialed after the first or second inning. And once I saw that he wasn't really showing any emotion and he was just stoic, even after having some pretty wipeout strikeouts, I was like, okay, we got something here. And Connolly early, you got to give credit to him. He started that game really well. He seems like a guy that's going to be very tough on left-handed hitters with that sweeper. Seems like he hides the ball really well. That fastball will get in on you really quickly. Yankee lefty hitters were struggling against early in this game, and they finally got to him in the fourth. A lot of that was self-inflicted for Boston. They did not play good defense in this game, in this series. You had the Rafaela drop pop-up. Apparently, Wilyer Abreu was saying after the game that they could not hear each other. They could not communicate very well between the outfield and the infield in this game, and that was because the crowd was so loud. He said that directly. So good job, Yankee fans. Keep it up. Keep being loud in the stands for at least the one more game that we're going to have in the DS. And some sloppy defense. The Nathaniel Lau booted ball at first base, allowed 2 runs to score, made it 4-0. He had the Trevor Story throw on the double play where he airmailed Steven Matz. Like they led baseball in errors this season. It was kind of on display in this series, and it was complete opposite for the Yankees. The Yankees played really solid defense, had a bunch of double plays in game 2. The only defensive blunders that come to mind would be the Rodon bunt in game 1 where we threw it away or threw it off the bag to Jazz at first, and then the Ben Rice drop pop-up in right field, which didn't come back to hurt them. You had Judge in game 1 where he didn't throw that ball into second fast enough, and Sogard took the extra base, which allowed Yoshida to hit the RBI single and give them a 2-1 lead. But all in all, the Yankees played solid defense in this series. The Red Sox did not. It cost the Red Sox. The Red Sox did not do the little things well. They couldn't get the bunts down. And the Yankees came up in the clutch moments, and they had an electric start from a rookie to seal the deal. So it kind of felt like just a role reversal here, because usually I'm used to the Yankees playing the way the Red Sox did in this series, and the Red Sox being the ones that come up and live up to the moment, meet the moment. And this is the Yankees' first time beating the Red Sox in the postseason since 2003 in the Aaron Boone home run. So it feels good.
Hey, Aaron Boone beat a non-central team. That's another thing. That's something else to note.
Yeah, it's like the first time beating a non-central team in a postseason series since like the mid 2010s, I think like 2012, 2013, because the last time they beat a non-central team was the A's, but that was the wild card game, just one game, which I don't really count. They got over a hump here. for sure. So it's exciting.
Okay, can we also talk about Aaron Boone managerially, his decisions? I mean, we can talk core and Boone managerial decisions. I mean, I think game one's going to be a game that we're going to be looking back on his decisions about pulling Max Fried, number one. Again, the analytical lineup of not starting Jazz or Rice. I completely disagree with that, with him not starting Jazz or Rice. I mean, Rice is on a heater right now. He's hitting the ball very well. And, Jazz is, again, he's one of the best second basemen in the game, and you're going to bench him. I mean, his run from first the other night, on Wednesday night, was the difference. We're running around. He ran very fast. You see the metrics on that, and I think that's something we have to discuss, that the base running has improved for the Yankees. But
and sorry, on Jazz, he saved the game in game two with the diving play that he made. He didn't get the out, but he stopped the ground ball from getting through. Would have given the Red Sox a 3-2 lead when Cruz was in the game in the seventh. He literally saved the game potentially this season with that play.
And so I know he's getting a lot of flack for what happened Monday, which, I mean, that's something, I'm going to ask you. What do you think about Jazz on Monday with the whole locker room incident where he wasn't facing media? What do you think about it?
I think Jazz, that's what he's going to do. I don't think he plays with his emotions. He's an emotional player. I don't think it's a good look. I think, he should speak to media there, if we're being honest, and just own it. And have those conversations internally, which I'm sure they did. But I think he should have started. He should have been playing in that game. You got to play your best players. Rosario had a big hit in game 3, but did not play well in game 1 against Crochet. And Crochet is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. He's really tough to hit against. So it's easy to say that Jazz would have gotten a hit. He probably wouldn't have. Against Crochet, lefty, but because some of his at-bats tonight against Connolly early weren't good, or last night. But again, you probably can't do it, for being honest.
So then, going off the decisions, you got the lineup, pulling another thing I had issues with, like pulling Fried, which, I mean, people in the camp that you should pull him, people in the camp that you shouldn't pull him. I mean, it's depends who you talk to, but I had personal issues putting Luke Weaver in. I mean, Luke Weaver's been a guy that we've watched in the past month, and he's been struggling. And I totally feel that, like, I don't think he should have been your first call. I think you should have called a Cruz, a Leiter to bridge into Devin, and then after that you could have bridged into Bednar. But hey, Boone survives. Surviving Aaron Boone continues. We're off to the next round. You got Toronto going up to the fortress that is the Blue Jays up there in Canada. Good season from the Red Sox. I'm going to give them their flowers. I mean, they played their hearts out. I mean, mucked up the game, as we would like to say. Their team next year is going to be very good. Healthy Roman Anthony. You're going to have Marcelo Mayo healthy. Full spring trainings for them with the Major League roster. Who knows what they're going to do in free agency. Could sign Pete Alonso and fix the first base issue that they have and get Pete Alonso. Maybe they're going to have to keep Bregman if he opts out. And, we can be looking at a team with the Red Sox next year that you could have Pete Alonso, Roman Anthony, Alex Bregman, and Rafaela. And, I mean, that would be a scary team. So, hey, I feel like we have a good appetizer from what's to come for Yankees-Red Sox. I think the rivalry is renewed. Shout out Cam Schlittler. I got nothing more.
Yeah, I got a couple more things. We can do the postmortem on Boston. I agree. Some key injuries down the stretch, namely, obviously, Roman Anthony really hurt them in this series. I think they're going to be good for a long time with all that young talent. Anthony coming back. I think Bregman's going to come back next season. I don't know if he's going to opt in or if he's going to re-sign. However it may be, I think he'll be playing in Boston next season. He talked a lot about after the game about how bright their future is. And I just think he's a guy that, really cares about playing winning baseball, being on winning teams. He's been on winning teams his entire career. I feel like he's been in the postseason basically every single season of his career. I just think he's going to be back in Boston. It's a good fit for him with the Green Monster out there. He had a great season. Expect him to be back. You got one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. I'd argue the second best pitcher, maybe third, depends on how you rank Skeen, Skubal, and Crochet. But Crochet's up there. He's your ace. He's your workhorse. He showed you why you gave up all those prospects to trade for him last winter. And I think he's going to be really good again next season. So that's a great start. You got these young starters, Connolly early. Maybe they got Bayo is still young. Bayo got a playoff start. I know it wasn't many innings, but he got some playoff experience under his belt. I think the rotation is going to be a strength again next season. Do they go out and trade for a Joe Ryan? Do they trade for a Pablo Lopez? We know there's going to be arms on the market this offseason. I think they got to trade up their sleeves. You still got Christian Campbell in the minor leagues. Is he going to play more of a role next season, come back up to the major leagues? Marcelo Meyer back healthy, Roman Anthony back healthy. I think they probably trade Jarren Duran this offseason. It feels like it's kind of the end of the road for those two. But I think Boston fans have many, many reasons to point to be excited about this team for a long time. And I agree. I think Yankees-Red Sox is going to be an intense rivalry for the next, hopefully, decade. I feel like the rivalry is finally back. I think Boston is going to get a World Series in the next 5 to 10 years. I think they can win multiple World Series in the Roman Anthony era, if we're being honest. He just has that much of an impact on winning. So, brutal loss for the Red Sox this week. They will be back. They will definitely be back. They got some things to figure out, but they'll be there. And then last thing on the Yankees. Do you have anything else on the Red Sox from what I said or not?
No, I mean, I'm just very interested to see what they do in the offseason. And I mean, hey, Core's managing. I think we could both say that Core is a top 5 manager in the game. So it'll be interesting what they do. I would like to see them, like you said, get a starting pitcher this offseason. I think that's like on the need, a starting pitcher and a first baseman.
First base, definitely a weak spot for them. Casas comes back healthy, but again, he was a guy that was floated in trade rumors all season long or all off season last year. So we'll see. And then the last thing I have on the Yankees, this series was a victory for Yankee player development. Obviously, you had the insane Cam Schlittler start in Game 3. He was a guy that wasn't even – he was like mid-90s in the minor leagues, and now he's up throwing 101 in Game 3 of a winner-take-all wildcard series. That Cam Schlittler is like the definition of victory for Yankees player development. You had the Wells RBI single in Game 2 that won the game for them. Probably should have been an RBI double. Nonetheless, he came up with the clutch hit. I thought he looked good defensively in this series against Boston. You had Anthony Volpe, who had the home run in Game 1 against Crochet, the only run the Yankees scored, and he had a hit in every game in the series. He also played really good defense at shortstop, saved the Yankees on the Devin Williams double play that he turned, jumping up to catch the ball and turning 2, and then saved the Yankees as well on the double play ball that was hit to Jazz, and he scooped it up, saved a potential error there from Jazz throwing error. Volpe was really good in this series, and his playoff numbers are very good. Anthony Volpe's hitting 300 in the playoffs in 17 games with an 850 OPS and 2 home runs. Maybe he's just an October guy. He's looked really good. And then the Ben Rice home run in Game 2. I thought Ben Rice had some really good at-bats in Game 2. And maybe to a lesser extent, Game 3, he looked like he struggled a lot against the lefty early. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with left-handed pitching moving forward in the postseason. I don't really think Toronto has any left-handed starters that the Yankees need to worry about. But Rice was really good. This series was, I'm sure, very validating for a lot of people in the Yankees scouting department, a lot of people in the Yankees player development department, because a lot of that young talent was on display and helped them quite literally win these games, win this series. So credit is given where credit is due in this instance. Good job by Yankee player dev.
Last thing I said, I think that my favorite quote from him came and said, "To be able to go out there and put their season down, that's something I can hold over everyone I know back home for at least another year."
That was Schlittler?
Yeah. I mean, you love this guy. I mean, I feel like this guy, if you read all this last night, I feel like you wouldn't sleep. Like, you'd be like, goosebumps.
He was leaning into it. The Yankees got to keep recruiting these guys from Massachusetts. Ben Rice was a psycho. He grew up in Massachusetts, but was a Yankee fan just because he wanted to spite his friends. And then you got Cam Schlittler, who seemed like he grew up a diehard Red Sox fan. And now he's a Yankee. It seems like he converted a lot of his family to Yankee fans. I don't know. He's talking his shit. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's go to the next series.
So now, as we continue, great series from New York, let's talk about that Cubs-Padres series, man. The Chicago Cubs faced off versus San Diego Padres up at Wrigley. Cubs won in 3. They won Tuesday 3-1. Homers from back-to-back off of Carson Kelly and Seiya Suzuki off Nick Pivetta in the 5th made it 2-1. and then Nico Horner sac fly made it 3-1. Cubs-Pen, 4 2/3, 4 strikeouts. They got the job done. Wednesday, Padres won 3-0. Dylan Cease couldn't go out after the fourth. He only got 3 2/3 with 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. He got the early hook. Andrew Kittredge started as an opener, gave up a first-inning run, but, I mean, it was tough for Chicago that day as Machado hit a 2-run homer to make it 3-0, and then the Padres pen came up and was elite. And then yesterday, the Cubs won 3-1. Cubs pen was great. Controversial ABS call we're going to get into. Suarez gave up a Michael Busch homer, but I think the story is, to me, regarding this series, is the battle of the bullpens. And as I said on the playoff preview, I picked San Diego because not only did I think they could hit, I think they would be better hitting than the Cubs, but I thought the difference was the bullpens. And let's take a bow.
Yeah.
The Cubs pen ended up coming in clutch, being elite, holding it down, and I mean, they got leads and they held them, and it was a difference. I expected more runs out of this series. It kind of became a strategical pitcher's game, but Cubs got it done. William, what do you think?
Yeah, let's go to the game 3. That's where all the drama was. Jameson Taillon.
Yes.
Jameson Taillon had a really good start, 4 scoreless innings, 4 strikeouts. But it was 3-1 Cubs in the 9th. The Cubs were trying to blow the game. Brad Keller hit a couple batters. But the key call here was a 3-2 pitch to Xander Bogaerts, which was low and away, and it was not a strike. It was well off the strike zone. I believe Kittredge was pitching at that point, and it would have been first and second, I believe, with no outs, something like that. And it was called a strike, and Bogaerts struck out. The Padres end up getting runners on second and third with 2 outs. Let me just pull up the play-by-play. In the 9th, Merrill had the leadoff home run. That made it 3-1. Then it was the next batter was Xander Bogaerts, and he struck out looking on a pitch that was a ball. So it was no one on and 1 out. And then O'Hearn got hit. Johnson got hit. So 2 straight hit by a pitcher, hit batters from Brad Keller. First and second should have probably been bases loaded with nobody out. Cubs bring in Andrew Kittredge. He got the ground ball out to third. Matt Shaw kind of made some trouble of that play, had some issue transitioning it from his glove to the hand, but he got the out, 2 outs, and then Freddie Fermin flew out to center field to end it. But that is quite literally a situation that you can directly point to, and it sucks for the Padres fans and the players and they were going at the umpires after the game. I don't know if you saw that video in the dugout. They were not happy. But it's probably bases loaded with nobody out. And the percentage, the chance of scoring at that point, I think is like 80% scoring with bases loaded, no outs, which by the way, we didn't talk about it. The Yankees had bases loaded with nobody out in game 1 and didn't score against Chapman. But
that's what I was going to say. I'm like, unless you're the Yankees, you don't score in a bases loaded situation.
Yeah. And it's because that's something next year that just, it won't happen. It won't happen. They challenge the call and it'd be a runner on first with nobody out. But
here's my thing. Like this is just like thing like this series reminds me. It's like a small sample size, I know, but it reminds me of it describes San Diego series in a like a small scale. Like it describes San Diego season. I mean, San Diego has all this talent. We expect them to get out. We expect them to be contenders and be battling the Dodgers and the Phillies, the elites of the elites. And, whenever they play the big teams, they play great or they struggle. They play to their competition and they're just very inconsistent. And, they couldn't score runs. The pen was good, but they lost to the Cubs. And, I mean, the Cubs got it done. Cubs came, played great, had home field, and got it done. It stinks because you want to see San Diego with guys like Machado and Tatis. But, again, the wild inconsistency that they are this season and the wild just ups and downs that they play. We said it. We could have seen it happening. It's just unfortunate. I did think that the pen would get it done. And the Cubs have a very high-powered offense that, will put up runs. And, the Pen showed up to the occasion and got the job done.
Yeah, the Tatis was very disappointing in this series. 0 for 4 on Tuesday, 1 for 4 on Wednesday, and 0 for 4 on Thursday in the game in the series decider with 3 strikeouts. He just looked like a shell of himself. He didn't show up. Machado hit the home run. He was testy post game in the locker room with a reporter in his post game interview. But yeah, the Padres pen showed up, but I do feel like they used so much of them in games 1 and game 2 that this was the major concern I had with them is Penn's going to get taxed. Even if they ended up winning this game, they used so many high leverage guys in this series that it would have been a tough uphill battle against Milwaukee, in my opinion. But I got to give credit where credit is due here with the Cubs. Not only was the pen very good and came through, and it started out as a weakness this season, but turned into a strength. Again, career years from guys like Caleb Thielbar, Drew Pomeranz has been really good for them this season. Keller was a little bit shaky there in the 9th, but they got it done. Kittredge slammed the door. The pen did its job. When you had shaky starting pitching, Boyd didn't go that deep into the game. Shota came in game 2 as the bulk guy after Kittredge was the opener and gave up the home run. That's kind of what Shota does. He gives up home runs. But they kind of overcame that. You got a huge start from Jameson Taillon in game 3, going 4 innings, handing things off to the bullpen. Shout out to Taillon. He got a pretty big contract when he signed in Chicago, and he kind of just earned that deal. And the pen took care of business. Not only that, but the Cubs played elite defense in this series. Dansby Swanson was making plays all over the field. I'd give, MVP of the series to Dansby Swanson just because of the defense that he played. Honestly, I think he earned that contract, and it's part of you saw why the Cubs are paying him so much money. Defensive stud. He quite literally helped you win a playoff series with the defense he played in the series. Not only him, but Nico Horner had a huge leaping catch in game 3. He's a Gold Glove second baseman. That's the thing with the Cubs, man, and I've said it all season. They play Gold Glove level defense. You got the best defensive center fielder in PCA in the entire league. He just, anytime there's a fly ball to center field, easy catch or hard catch, whatever, you just feel like PCA is going to catch it. The one position that probably makes me nervous on that field right now is Seiya Suzuki in right, but you got a Gold Glover Ian Happ out there, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, just elite defense, and that pays in the playoffs. That helps you win series, and you saw it on display here with Chicago. So credit to them. Just like the Yankees, they now get a division rival in Milwaukee. They won the season series against the Brewers this year. So I think that one's going to be fun. I picked the Brewers to win the World Series. Again, like I said, I feel like I'm going to regret that pick. But this is going to be a fun series. It kind of sucks for the Cubs and the Brewers. It's the weird because they have all 4 NLDS game 1s on Saturday. So then the National League gets the off day on Sunday. So it's Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. There's an off day in between every game to start the series. I don't love that. But credit to the Cubs. You want to do a little postmortem here on the Padres too?
I mean, I'm just like, what can I tell you about San Diego? I'm not sad. I'm just disappointed. Like, again, we're getting to the point with San Diego. It's just like, at what point do we kill this like alliteration of this team when we just switch the core up? When are we like
iteration?
Yeah. What time do we kill this core and go for it? Because you're obviously not getting over the hump. You're inconsistent. You don't have money to get starting pitching that's valuable to get you through the postseason. And I'm sorry, like, yeah, you have a mega pen, but you have to get to the mega pen. And if you're not getting to the mega pen, then what's the point? That's the thing. And you got a big contract in Xander, big contract in Cronenworth. Machado's getting older. He's still playing great. Tatis is playing well. But at some point, you're going to have to ask that question: Can we compete with the big teams in the National League? And right now, they're not doing it. They had an exit last year versus the Dodgers, and they had an exit this year versus the Cubs. And I mean, I'm very excited for the Cubs. I mean, high-powered offense, good spine. I'm going to go out on a limb, and people were asking me, Luis, what's your prediction? Because some of my friends are from Chicago, and I was like, what is your prediction for the Cubs-Brewers series? And I'm like, Cubs in 5. Cubs are going to win the series in 5. I'm pretty confident in that one. I feel that the Brewers' voodoo magic's going to end, and I feel the Cubs' bats are going to pop out, and they'll go to the CS. I feel quite confident that the Cubs are going to get through.
Right now, Fangraphs has it Freddie Peralta game 1 against Colin Ray, Quinn Priester versus Boyd in game 2, and Shota Imanaga versus Chad Patrick in game 3. We'll see what happens with Brandon Woodruff and the lat injury. But yeah, it's an even series. I think the Brewers are like minus 130 favorites right now in DraftKings. My thoughts on the Padres, I think I agree with you. It's a question of, is that young core, or not even young really?
Not even young. It's even the core. They're older.
The core, yeah. You do have the youth in Merrill. That's kind of where I was thinking.
Merrill and who else?
That's it. Obviously, you would have had Leo DeVries, but you trade for Mason Miller, so he's gone. And to your point, there's no point in having a super pen if the starting pitching isn't going to give you a little bit of length. No Ramon Laureano, I think, hurt them in this series, but yeah, they have a bunch of money out to guys that maybe shouldn't be earning as much money as they are. Jake Cronenworth got a huge $80 million deal, has not played up to the expectations of that contract. I'd argue, Tatis is getting a lot of money, 24 AAV, and he's been great, top 10 player in the game, but struggled in this series. Sander Bogarts is one of the most overpaid players in the sport, in my opinion. Machado's getting a ton of money. His contract actually ticks up. Right now he's at 17 mil a year and then 25 mil a year in 26, but it hops up to 39 mil a year starting in 2027. He's under contract through 2033. So that's 8 more seasons, and he's 33 right now. And yeah, I know he hit the home run in this series, but I don't know, man. We've seen it year in, year out. This core comes up short, and they went all in this season. AJ Preller was a maniac at the deadline, and I get it, but Mason Miller was incredible in this series, but they didn't get it done. The offense didn't show up. Cubs advance. Padres heading home, and we'll see what they do this offseason, obviously, but I don't feel really any good about them coming back next season and getting back to or getting to a World Series.
What are they going to do is the question. They had issues with money.
Right. And that's the interesting thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing with the Padres. Heading into the season, we thought they were going to trade at least 1 or 2 of these guys and move off some of the money. That was the narrative around this team heading into the season. That's why
they didn't do free agency moves. They did nothing in free agency.
Yeah, they did nothing, and they went all in at the deadline, kind of burned them. And I respect it, trying to win, but I think they got to try to trade one of these big contracts, if possible, in this offseason. I think
I don't know what you do. That's why you pay the big bucks to the GMs, but it's getting spooky. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you look at their top prospects. Obviously, Ethan Salas is the kind of the number one guy, but he's been struggling behind hitting really ever since being in the minor league level, elite defensive catcher, and that's been a position of weakness for them. He used to be a top 5, top 10 prospect. Now he's down to 77 on MLB.com, and then they traded DeVries, who is I think the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. So I don't know, man. Or he's the number 3 prospect right now on MLB.com. But they leveraged their future for this season, and I guess next whatever. But got to get some starting pitching.
Exactly. So let's move on. Let's talk Guardians, Tigers. Tigers got on the good side of history.
Michigan runs the state of Ohio. Michigan walks into your trap, takes over your trap, plant the flag, Tigers win. Ohio loses again.
Yeah, you got a lot of people, big mad.
So it's what Michigan does. And the Tigers tweeted out the flag plant on the mound at whatever they call it, Progressive Field these days. Can we be honest about this series? I'm sorry. I'm
gonna be honest about the series. Tigers won in 3. Let me just say quickly: Tigers won the first game 2-1, Wednesday 6-1, and then yesterday 6-3. The Tigers won. Guardians won game 2 6-1. It was it's central block baseball. William, I think you have very strong feelings about it. William, you at one point called this little league. Not I want to say little league, but it's small ball baseball.
The series sucked. The lone quality performance I think we saw in this series was Tarek Skubal in game 1 doing Tarek Skubal things, best pitcher in baseball. But besides that, it was a brutal watch. I'm going to be honest. You had the Guardians starting a rookie, his MLB debut, made his MLB debut in a postseason series, and he dropped a fly ball immediately. I know the wind was crazy. The sun was tough. The Guardians could barely hit the ball out of the infield. Like, it felt like a struggle for both of these teams to hit the ball out of the infield. The Guardians had a couple home runs late in game 2 to pull away, and the Tigers' bats finally came alive in game 3. But this was Central Block baseball, tons of errors, tons of sloppy defense, and
tons of bad ABs. I mean, a lot of those strikeouts. I was busy on Tuesday, but I rewatched a little bit of it. A lot of the ABs that the Guardians were doing were terrible. Like, we know Tarek Skubal's pitch is the changeup. You get to 2 strikes with him. You know the changeup is coming. Why are you swinging? Like, just hold off. Like, we'll have better approaches at the plate. Like, he struck out you guys 14 times in 107 pitches. Like, get real.
Career high, I believe, right?
Yeah, and then, it's just situationally, the Guardians in game 1 couldn't get J-Ram home to tie the game. And then yesterday, I mean, Tigers pulled away, scoring 4, and it was over. I mean, Javi Baez came in, had a 2-hit game in game 1 and 2, and one in game 3. And as I've told everybody, he's the Russell Westbrook of baseball. When Javi Baez is locked in, he is one of the better players in the majors. But when he is off, he can literally lose you a series. And that's just Javi Baez, because of his defense. Again, congratulations to the Tigers. You rectified history, but do you inspire confidence when you go play Seattle into the fortress that is T-Mobile Park and Big Dumper? I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough.
It's definitely going to be tough. Javi Baez had a great series, 5 for 11 with a double. He was good. Played good defense. He showed why he got that contract. And, hats off to him. Hats off to the Tigers for getting through. The Guardians kind of rectifying what happened at the end of the season there. They were not afraid to mention that after game 3, post game. But
boo, hoo. You're home. You're in Cancun. You're the first to Cancun. It's like, hey, I beat you to get chicken. I beat you to the restaurant to get food, but you're the first one out. So what's the point?
Oh man, yeah. It's just the Guardians. It's like watching nails on a chalkboard, watching them trying to score. Both of them. It just the Guardians are not a good team. I'm sorry, they're not good. They have nothing besides Jose Ramirez in that lineup. Nothing.
They could have used the Josh Naylor of the series, an impact bat there in the middle of the lineup. And the difference, I mean, very different team. But let's take a moment and congratulate them. I think they're going to be a better team next year. I mean, they have Chase Lautner getting some run this year in the postseason. Gavin Williams, dark horse sleeper AL Cy Young candidate next season. I was talking that with Patrick brought it up, and I was like, potentially, I could see a world. I mean, he had that really good start versus the Mets this year that he almost got the no hitter, but Juan Soto hit that ball deep. And, he's a really good pitcher. I mean, look, congratulations to the Tigers. You play Seattle. You can't go 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position like you did on Wednesday if you're going to beat Seattle. But, again, Guardians, they'll be back next year. They're going to have a lot more of youth infusion. And, again, Stephen Vogt proved why, in my opinion, he's probably the manager of the year potentially in the AL. Managed his butt off throughout the regular season. Playoffs, it was a little bit difficult. Couldn't get it done. But, hey, coming back from 15.5, that's a valiant effort. The Cinderella story had to stop at one point. The clock struck midnight.
It did. Their luck ran out. Good start from Flaherty, by the way, game 2. Tigers get it done. Or, sorry, game 3, not game 2. Game 2 was so I thought was pretty solid, too. 3 innings, 1 earned. But, yeah, Tigers get it done. It's going to be Seattle. I got Seattle in that series right now. Fangraphs has it Tarek Skubal versus Luis Castillo game 1. I think Skubal will probably go game 2. And I think Brian Wu would go game 1 for Seattle. I don't think we have starters announced for that series yet.
We'll have to see. But I'm going to go on Seattle in 4. Seattle's pitching is way too much. Better rotation, and their hitters are just going to have, incredible. And Seattle's one of those fan bases that they're all going to show up and They're very knowledgeable, and it's going to be crazy. I mean, we saw how Seahawk playoff games could be. Mariners playoff games are also going to be electric, and they actually have a good chance of making it all the way.
Yeah, they sold out some inter-squad games. I don't know if it was a complete sell, but they had a ton of people at the inter-squad games they had this week. Ichiro was out there playing right field, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, I got Mariners in 3 in that one, to be honest. I think they sweep. I think they win the Skubal start just because the Tigers can't score runs. And the Mariners have really good starting pitching and a good lineup this year. So give me the Mariners in 3. And then for I didn't pick the other series, the Cubs, Brewers. I'll go Brewers in 5. And let's wait till the end of the series or the pod to do the Yankees-Blue Jays one. All right, you want to move on to the exhibition series that was Dodgers-Reds?
I mean, Dodgers 1-2. Dodgers won 10-5 on Tuesday. Blake Snell went 7 strong, 9 strikeouts, 2 earned. It was over after the first inning. They started just piling runs. Teoscar had a 2-homer game. There was the alleged that they were that the Reds were tipping pitches. I don't know if you read about that. The Reds were tipping pitches. Dodgers ran it up, and then Wednesday the Dodgers won again. They won in the whatchamacallit. There was the Yamamoto start. They went 8-4. Zach Littell was the opener. He went 3 1/3, 3 earned, 2 strikeouts. Yamamoto went 6 2/3, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, and Ben Rotovert went crazy.
Rotoved?
Yeah, Rotoved. And then Mookie Betts, 4 for 5, 3 doubles and 3 RBIs. I mean, look, here's my takeaway from this whole series. And then, I mean, I was firsthand there Wednesday. I think what makes the Dodgers such a dangerous team right now is that, one, they have the experience. But other than the big 3 of Yamamoto, and not Yamamoto, but Ohtani and Freeman and Betts, and you can also make the argument for Teoscar Hernandez, is that there are other guys like Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, and Andy Pages, and all the other guys on that roster, like they're heating up at the right time, and they're contributors. There's not I was telling this to Robert, who I went to the game with. There's not like a time in that lineup where you can like take like a breath. They're on you, like they're literally like applying pressure and going for the game. Perfect example of that was on Wednesday. I mean, Ohtani didn't do much offensively. They intentionally walked him, and then guys like Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas were hitting the ball really well and manufacturing runs. And I think at the end of the day in baseball, it's a team game. You need everybody to contribute at least. And what made the Dodgers are such a hard out because of that. Yamamoto's breaking stuff is some of the best breaking stuff in the game, in my opinion. And, you know, he had a rough first inning, and the second time around, like, he just was just locked in and just strikeout. Couple questionable calls on the umps. Could have easily been 7 strong and 10 strikeouts. But, I mean, hey, Dodgers didn't have to use the Ohtani start, so they're ready to go for Philadelphia on Saturday. I mean, they're going to be a tough out, and if those other guys keep, you know, contributing and being meaningful contributions, I don't know how Philadelphia is going to be able to win if, you know, the rest of the lineup is just producing. It's going to be a really good series. It's going to be very tough for Philly to win. And it's a toss up for me.
I agree. I think it's a toss up. This series was it felt like a spring training tune-up, you know, exhibition series for the Dodgers, just to kind of get their feet wet in the postseason this year. Let some guys get some reps. Like, the Reds were just not on the same stratosphere as the Dodgers, if we're being totally honest. I think the biggest thing though with the Dodgers is the bullpen still did show some cracks, and, you know, it wasn't fully tested in like a tight game late. That's something to watch in the Philly series. Who's on the top of that bullpen trust tree? Obviously, Roki Sasaki looked really good in game 2, closing things out. But, like, Tanner Scott's been bad all season. Blake Trinan's been bad in September, you know, finishing out the season. Alex Vesia, those are like the guys that seems like they trust right now. Maybe throw in Jack Dreyer in there. But then it's like, okay, Sheehan, you know, Roblisky, Henriquez, like those guys are going to have to get some run in this DS. And then if they make it to a 7-game series, those guys are definitely going to have to get some run. So, do we see Kershaw probably slide into the bullpen in the DS? Like what other starters are going to slide into the pen? Is Glasnow going to be out there? Are they going to go with a 3-man rotation? I think Glasnow probably slots into the rotation for the DS behind Snell, Yamamoto, Ohtani. Ohtani's going game 1, but the Dodgers weren't really tested at all in this first series. Philly will be a test. They don't have home field advantage. It's going to be in Philly, but Philly was sitting on their butts all week. I know they played those inter-squad games, but it's just not the same. Does that have an impact on them? Is it going to help the Dodgers that they were playing, all week? We'll see.
That's a big thing right there. The inter-squad games. I think that's something you have to harp on. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams in this format struggle come with the buys. So, and this is the question we've talked about off pod. Is it better to be playing, or is it better to be sitting and resting and recovering?
And it's just kind of impossible to quantify. It's hard to give an answer for that question. We don't have a ton of sample size for it yet, but I feel like all the pressure's on Philly in this series because they have so many free agents after this season, and they haven't been able to get over the hump with this core. You had a historic season from Schwarber. The Dodgers won the World Series last season. They don't really have a ton of pressure on them to get it done again. Obviously, they want to. Philly's got to get over that hump, and they're probably like, really? Like, we make it this far. We finish second in the National League, and we got to play the Dodgers in the DS. We don't even get a 7-game series against them. We got to beat them in 5. It's tough. It's going to be a fun series. I think this is probably the best series of the DS round.
Oh, 100%. And I've gone back and forth with this. The Phillies were my pick to make it to win, but I mean, when the other guys are contributing and playing well, it's like you tell me if Anthony Volpe and Austin Wells are contributing along with the other guys in the Yankees lineup, the Yankees lineup is like very difficult to beat. That's any lineup in baseball. When you have your back half hitting, and again, I see Philadelphia on paper. The bullpen's better. The pitching is better. So, I don't know. The starting pitching is preference. I'd lean Dodgers is better, but I don't know. I just feel that championship DNA is going to come out, and I had Philly, but I think Dodgers are going to do it in 5. And I mean, Philadelphia is the better team by record, and they have home field advantage. But look, as they say, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. So this is Philadelphia's moment to prove that they belong. It's like the Michael Irvin clip. Like, don't let nobody come into your house, your place. Just don't let them take everything. You got to defend your house, defend and win. So,
I think the Dodgers win in 4. The pitching is better. The starting pitching, the bullpen is the main concern with LA, but they're going to score runs. They're going to. Christopher Sanchez, ton of pressure on him on Saturday night. They got to win game 1. It's Ohtani. We didn't even talk about Ohtani. 2 home runs in game 1, and now he's starting the DS. Like, guy's just insane, man. And then Snell and Yamamoto. Those guys are nasty.
And you guys are nasty. Glasnow.
I think the Dodgers might just go on a run here and win their 2nd straight World Series, if we're being honest.
Here's my question to you, and we'll wrap and we'll put the bow on the podcast after this debate for today. I know we got to do Yankee pick, but but before we do that, what do you think is more important in the playoffs? A starting rotation or bullpen? And it's something I was just thinking last night, and right now that we're talking, what's more important is when you have a start like Schlittler going 8 strong, you basically neutralize the whole other team and you take the game out of the bullpen's hands. Would you prefer that, or would you rather do the Kansas City Royals style? Oh, I'm going to get you 5 and keep going and putting shutdown arms. What's more important and more valuable in the postseason?
It's a good debate. I think I'd lean starting pitching because the starting pitching sets up the bullpen. If your starting rotation is going 4 innings instead of 5, 6, 7 innings and really taxing the bullpen day in, day out. Remember, if you start in the wild card series, you have to win 15 games to win a World Series? 8 plus 3 plus 3, 14. 14 games? Mathematics are, 14 games to win a World Series, because 4 in the World Series, 4 in the CS, that's 8, plus 3 in the DS, that's 11, plus 3 in the wild card, that's 14.
No, 2 in the wild card.
2 in the wild card. 13. You got to win 13 games to win the World Series. Whew, it's early.
6 a.m. out here. So
yeah. Anyway, you got to win. You got to win 13 games to win a World Series, and you can't ask your bullpen to give you 5, 6 innings every single night. Like you're going to those high leverage guys every night. No, you got to get some length from your starting rotation. And I feel like if the Yankees, if Schlittler goes 3, 4 innings last night instead of 8, I think the Red Sox probably win that game if it becomes a bullpen game. Like it makes all the difference starting pitching. So I would definitely lean starting pitching. We saw it in San Diego. They didn't get much length from their starting rotation. The Cubs got to Suarez with the home run in Game 3 after seeing him the whole series. So yeah, I'd probably lean starting pitching here.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, after seeing Schlittler start and seeing, Yamamoto start the other night, I mean, a good ace that can neutralize all the batters, and you're not relying on multiple people, you're relying on one people. Sometimes one of those guys in that chain of the bullpen cannot have it, and then somebody else has to pick it up. It's relying on multiple people. So
yeah. You're right. You need everyone to have their ace stuff every single night, and that just it rarely happens. The Yankees got length from their starting rotation, by the way, the whole series. 6 1/3 from Fried, 6 from Rodon, and 8 from Schlittler.
Yeah.
If you told me that before the series, I would say we won.
and you did, yeah. So
there you go.
There you go. So Yankee pick. What do you think? We how is it? What are you thinking?
I'm trying not to pick with my heart. I'm trying to pick with my head, and I just something different feels. There's something that feels different about this Yankee team than them in the playoffs in years past. Doesn't mean they're going to win the World Series. Doesn't mean they're going to make the World Series. But the fact that they got up the mat, they're just a better all-around ball club than they were last season when they lost in the World Series, in a series they could have won. I think they're going to exercise some demons against Toronto, get over the hump against Toronto. I got the Yankees they close it out in probably 4, because you're not going to win a Game 5 in Toronto. You win Game 4 in the Bronx. I think they get over the hump. And I do think Toronto, if there's going to be one team that was sitting at home that would have liked to have been playing in this week, I lean Toronto. I feel better about Philly. I even feel better about Milwaukee. And I feel good about Seattle. I just think Toronto is going to be one of those teams that struggles after the bye. Give me Yankees in 4.
I got Yankees in 4. I think a lot of these games are very, very tight during the season and could have gone the other way. And again, Blue Jays had a lot of close victories that I feel like their luck will run out. And I do feel like the Yankees bullpen is playing great. Starting pitching is playing great. All we need is those bats to wake up. That's the only thing that didn't happen. Bats wake up and, oh boy, watch out.
And I think Toronto doesn't offer the pitching staff that Boston had. You're not going to face a guy at the level of a Crochet. Right now, Fangraphs has it Bieber, Gausman, Scherzer. We'll see. Those are guys you've seen all season. I feel better about facing Gausman than I do Crochet. Their pen is 20th in ERA. Like, the bullpen isn't as good as Boston's. There's no one in that bullpen that you really are terrified of. I know Hoffman had a good year, but he also blew a lot of saves, man. So I feel a game where the Yankees kind of blow it open early. And with the way the DS format works, like, there's a ton of pressure on that home team, the higher seed, to win a game out of the first 2. Because if this thing's 1-1 going back to the Bronx, you got to feel good with Scherzer and whoever starts Game 4. Like, you got to feel good about where the Yankees are at.
And I'll finish my statements today for the morning. In in playoff series in formats like best of 5 and best of 7, it's not a series till the road team wins. Like right now, the Blue Jays, you got to defend home field advantage. You got to defend. Yankees, you just got to steal one and defend. It's all about defending home field. So to me, Blue Jays, you win 2, you can lose in New York, you got game 5. Yankees got to steal one on the road and bring that advantage back to the Bronx.
Yeah, and I can see a world in which, and I picked Yankees in 4, so I think they split in Toronto, and then the Yankees win the 2 in the Bronx. With it'd probably be Rodon and Schlittler.
Schlittler again. What would Schlittler say? We beat Canada, or what was his?
I don't know. Is he going to make up some beef with Toronto in his head?
It's just like he's psychotic.
Can Toronto keep up? They're kind of a voodoo magic team in the American League. Like, can they keep up? Springer had an MVP caliber season. Vlad, like Kirk had some clutch hits down the stretch, especially on that final Sunday of the season. But Santander's back, but and Rogers Center is a fortress with the dome, with the roof closed. But I feel good about the Yankees. Judge, you got to step up. Had a good game 1.
Moments. You got to be a dog. You got to be a dog. So, we'll be back
Monday after game 2 for the Yankees.
Probably
Monday morning.
Monday morning. Make sure you keep it locked in. I mean, William, like always, it's the best baseball. We're on call. We're on the dot. As I say, everybody the joke. Luis, you're on the clock. Go watch the game.
We're on call right now. All right. This was a fun one, Luis. Thank you, as always. Enjoy the wedding today. Tell Bailey I said congratulations. Make it back in one piece.
That's not a problem. I'll make it back in one piece back home if I want to go home. I don't want to leave. Like, Dodger Stadium was beautiful. Like, what a great place to see a ball game. I mean, very understated. The California mountains, and you have the Goodyear blimp with the sunset. Woo wee. Yeah, I sound like an Instagram, Instagram or Tumblr, or what's a Visco profile, lover. I don't know.
It is, yeah, it's a beautiful stadium. Glad you got to go out there. No playoff baseball in the state of Florida, unfortunately. Cubs still going, so maybe I'll go to a DS game out here in Chicago. We'll see.
So we're gonna have boots on the ground in Chicago.
Maybe we should have boots on the ground every single round this postseason. We'll see. But
hey, one question before we leave: Did Brewers put any restriction on their tickets?
It's a good question. I haven't seen anything yet, but man, I imagine the Cubs fans are going to be flocking up to Milwaukee this weekend. It might be Cubs home game because a lot of times it is
Wrigley North. Yeah.
So I'd be very curious to see how that plays out. All right, that's it. Yankees get it done. Tigers get it done. Cubs get it done. Reds, Dodgers get it done. DS starts tomorrow. Saturday afternoon. We'll be back on Monday morning, probably. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you guys then. Peace out.